Hi. Um, as you can tell, I'm in my kitchen right now. Kitchens are a great place. They are a place where you not only you cook food, you eat food, grab a beer from the fridge. They are also for a lot of families, myself included, mine included, that we talk about budgets. We talk about money in our kitchens. We work on our balancing our checkbooks on the kitchen table. We go over what bills are due, what priorities we need to focus on to get from this paycheck to the next paycheck. Budgets are about priorities. What do we think is important? Is it more important to have HBO for our cable, or to go out to McDonald's one extra time a week? Is it more important to go to Florida, or is it more important to go to Milwaukee a couple extra times? Those are things that we, as a family, sit down at tables much like this and talk about what our priorities as a family are. Last night, on the 3rd, Governor Walker spent his evening talking about what his priorities are, what he's been working on his kitchen table in regards to the state of Wisconsin. This is through the budget process. I'm going to spend the next couple of days talking to you about his priorities and what I think about them. I want you to understand that these are my own opinions. They're not the opinions of the Sheboygan Area School District Board or its administration. These are just simply the opinions of a taxpayer, a parent, a citizen, and as a board member, but I am not speaking for the board. Tonight I want to talk to you about vouchers. I have a lot of problems with Governor Walker's proposal to expand vouchers from Milwaukee and Racine Unified School District, and with the addition of 1,000 students from outside those two districts that are currently in the voucher program, to expand it to where any child that's in a family that earns less than 185% of the federal poverty level, which, by the way, is a very high amount of money, can go to any school, any private school, any parochial school, and public schools too. The problem that I have are several, and I'm going to spend some time talking to you about them. The first problem is that it is really a lack of control. Not by me as a board member, but by you as a taxpayer, you as a voter, me as a voter. When I, as a school board member, go and make decisions, you have the ability to say, hey, that's great, that's awesome, I love it, I'm going to vote for you again. Or, no, that sucks. I don't like what you've been doing. In fact, I hate what you're doing so much. Not only am I going to vote against you, I'm going to run against you. You don't have that in private or parochial schools. You can't vote an archbishop out of office. You can't do that. You can't vote a board of directors that's in Ohio out of their offices because you don't like what's going on in your child's school. You can do that with me. And by doing that, you have the ability to change things. You have the ability to decide, do we need to have an expansion on this school? Do we need to close this other one? Do we need to teach Common Core or something else? You have that opportunity by supporting me or voting against me. You don't have that opportunity in a private school setting. You lose control, which is an ironic thing given that Governor Walker, who is a very conservative guy, is saying, I want to take control away from you as a taxpayer, and I want to give it to something more nebulous, something that you don't have direct control over. You have control over me as a board member by voting me out of office if you don't like what I'm doing and keeping me in if you do. You don't have that in a private or a parochial school setting. The next issue that I have with vouchers is that, as proposed, what's going to happen if this budget is approved is that money that is going to public schools will be taken away from public schools. And that will hurt not only those kids that are leaving public schools. I do think in general, public schools provide an excellent education for the money. It's a lot cheaper than you think, to teach kids in a public school setting. It's expensive in general, yeah, but it's still a pretty good bargain. But you're also hurting those kids who, because they don't have there isn't a suitable religious organization, or there isn't a suitable private school, you are also hurting them as well too, because you're taking money away from those kids that are still there, and they won't have the same access to resources that they did before. As an example, if you've got 30 kids in a classroom, 15 of those kids decide, or the parents decide, that they're going off to a voucher school, a private school. You still have 15 kids there. You still have to, it's still a large enough classroom where you still have to pay for teachers. You still have to pay to heat the rooms. You still have to pay for the books. Now, some of those costs may be reduced. You're going to have fewer books, yes, but you're still going to have to pay for the building. You're still going to have to pay for the teachers that are there. And in order to do that, you have to cut out other things. You have to cut out things like sports, music, art. Those are things that are more likely to be cut because the money just simply isn't there. We would be looking at potentially even closing schools and school districts in some cases if these voucher proposals go through. I have a real problem with that. In a way, it actually kind of gets rid of some choices because if you are that serious about wanting to go to a private school, you still can now. But with this voucher system, you may lose the opportunity to go to the public school of your choice simply because that public school is no longer there. That is a real problem for me. I'm going to spend more time talking about other issues, but I do want to, before I let you go for now, there are a couple of things that I would like you to do. I would like you to, if you're not already following me on Facebook, my Facebook page is below. You can take a look at that. I will also give you information on how you can contact your legislature. If you feel as strongly as I do about these issues and you want to contact them, I'm going to give you some information on how you can do so. That's it for now, though. I will give you that information. And next time we'll be talking about some other things in the governor's budget. We will be talking a bit about standards. We'll be talking a bit about what he is doing, what he is proposing as far as teacher preparedness, teacher readiness, and a couple of other things that, as we go through this, I will share with you. But thanks for listening. I appreciate you taking the 9 minutes out of your busy day to listen to me, and I will talk to you soon.